E360 TV proudly presents messages of inspirational stories. Live streaming now to millions of devices, including Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, YouTube Live, Facebook Live, with your host, Donna, producer and host, Jim Grant, producer and host, along with Michaela Vidal, administrator and host, and Gaia Ginwa Balconi Wada, editor-in-chief.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to the Messages of Inspirational Stories, everybody. We hope you are doing wonderful today. Jim, how are you?
Well, I'm doing fine. Hey, like my new hairdo. I just added a little bit to it there. It's all white, so you couldn't tell the difference. It's a pleasure to be here. We are so glad and honored to share some information with folks out there, because we talk about topics sometimes that's not popular to talk about.
They're the tough topics.
Yeah.
Tough to talk about topics.
Yes, they are. But they need to be talked about, because I think everybody, abuse and trauma and relationships, that's similar to cancer. I think everybody knows somebody that's been involved with that type of a situation. Just like I think everybody knows somebody that's had cancer.
Sure.
Either friend or relative. So yeah, it's we need to discuss that, and that's what we've been doing this week. And we got some great information going to be sharing with you. Going to be sharing with you some stories of folks who have overcome, trauma in their life. And but today is the day to take a break. Am I right, Donna?
Yep, you lead off, Jim.
Oh, you want me to do that one?
Yeah, I'm going to do the next one.
All right, okay. Today is National Lazy Day. So today, if you're a lazy person, today is your day. I got to look this up right quick. I was going to do it and I forgot, to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. But, how did this day get started? National Lazy Day. I mean, I know for some people it's always been around, but the history of it goes back, quite a ways. The seventh day, it talks about God resting. But in 1819, Irving publishes Rip Van Winkle, sleeping for 20 years and all that. And Richard Linklater film follows a bunch of people who film critics Peter Travers described as a generation of bristling minds unable to turn their thoughts into actions. And July the 24th, 2018, we did nada. That was the official day of it. So today's National Lazy Day. It's amazing how everything has a day, it sure does. And the next one I know is right down your alley.
It is National Spoil Your Dog Day. I adore all animals, really. I'm not overly fond of snakes, and I'll be honest, I hate flies. They drive me nuts. But, come on, dogs, they are just perfect. They are perfect. And I've been looking in here, folks, and I cannot find the how about when this started. But, it's funny because we talk about this, and we talk about how, we spoil our dogs, about, buying that indestructible toy for $30 that we swore we weren't going to buy, and we buy it anyway, right? And we might sneak them a little something off of our plate, or
oh yeah,
when I make eggs, I always make Jake eggs. They're good for him, and he likes them, and it's a treat, right? So and the treats that he gets are quite expensive, but that's okay. I spoil my puppy.
Mm-hmm. He's worth every penny of it, too.
Absolutely. And in spades.
Now, he's family.
Yep.
He is family. And he's also your guardian.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
It's funny. We were talking about that the other night, about how well he listens to me and the trust that we
Hmm.
have, right, with
Hmm.
each other. And because it's so hot here in Phoenix, I always am careful how much time he spends outside.
Hmm.
And he
Sure.
doesn't like to be alone when I'm outside or if my husband and I go outside. And he had come out and he'd already been in, he'd been out a while and he'd been in maybe, oh gosh, 4 minutes when he wanted out again. And so I let him out and I said, if he goes over into the shade where the grass is, I'll be okay with that. Then he can stay out for a little bit. And he usually goes and lays on the pool deck, right? He wants to get the sun.
Hmm.
And he went over and he laid in the grass. And my husband looked at me and he said, okay, that was some weird, weird stuff. What'd you do?
On the safe wavelength there mentally
Right?
is what you're doing. Yeah. You
Uh,
know, Donna, also too, I'd like for you to share with the folks because Jake is how old?
he's 12.
He's 12. Uh-huh.
Mhm.
And there was I've learned some things from Donna that I did not know, did not realize. But when it comes, and this is not a sales pitch or anything, but when it comes to keeping your home clean and safe, because dogs walk across the floor, and
Mhm.
some of the chemicals that we use in our house, I'm gonna
Oh.
let you pick it up from there.
Well, unfortunately, most of the store brand products have harsh, toxic chemicals in them. And
Hmm.
what happens when we clean our floor, we clean our counter, we spray it down, that mist that has those chemicals
Hmm.
is not only on the counter, and now it's on everything we use to wipe it up, but it also goes down to the floor, right? Fine particles, we got the AC going, and it goes down to the floor. And when our animals or our babies or children, excuse me, walk across the floor, they're breathing that in, they're absorbing it in their skin. So, our skin, and they're no different, it is absorbed in less than 30 seconds into our
Yes.
skin. So, I have not used toxic chemicals in my home in over 18 years now. And I do believe that is one reason my animals have lived so long.
Hmm. And a lot of the animals suffer from allergies, and I think that
Oh,
might
yeah.
be related. And how is Jake and your other pets? Because you got four cats in the house. How
Hmm.
are they? Would you say allergy wise? Do they have
None.
none?
None. Jake gets some hot spots once in a blue moon, but that's more because he's got so much. He's got that
Hmm.
huge double coat. I mean,
Mm,
honestly, when I vacuum, and Great Pyrenees have long fur anyway, really
right.
long, thick fur, even
Yes,
more than
they
a
do.
German, even more than a German Shepherd.
Hmm.
So, but other than a few hot spots, you know what? There's really no problem. I mean, there's no
Mm,
allergies that I know of. The cats are
mm,
fine. My God, they're all over the house.
mhm.
So,
Yeah, because the reason I wanted you to mention that because we're talking about today you want to spoil your animal, your dog day, and
right,
we spoil all of our pets. But um, a lot of people have their pets have health issues,
hmm,
and some of the health issues when you take it to the vet's going to treat what they have best in hand for that particular symptom. But a lot of times it could be the combination of the food, the cleaning
right,
products, all those things. It dominoes, creates issues within the animal. And then you got to take him to the doctor, take your pet to the doctor, and the doctor is going to put more, medicine on there. So
right,
a lot of the stuff can be cleaned up more naturally. And
absolutely,
I'm just going to say we're not going to give any type of commercials or anything like that. But if you'd like to know more about what Donna is doing there with her pets, because this could save you a lot of money, just email Donna at highenergyrightnow@gmail.com. She will be more than glad to help you there. And since we're talking about abusive relationships and things like that, um, Donna will also give you a complimentary 30-minute complimentary, consultation on what is blocking your energy, because she narrows it down to what? Three things.
Person, a place, or a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we get stuck. The cogs
Mm-hmm.
can't move. We get stuck,
Mm-hmm.
so it won't loosen up. And once they get unstuck,
Yeah.
man, the magic happens right then.
Yeah. It's like yesterday, Emerson was talking about, or day before Monday it was, I'm
Probably the
sorry.
day before, yeah.
Yeah. He was talking about Bob Newhart and that you just go there, Bob Newhart, and stop it. He just says the two words, stop it, And
Right.
and preparing for this show in my studies, and I've known this, I've seen this in my life. People get stuck in an abusive relationship and they're stuck. They can't find the door. Either they can't see financially how they can get out of there, or they feel like, well, I forgive them. I got to make this work due to my religious beliefs. There's a lot of that you're dealing with out there. And that's why I encourage you to get in touch with Donna and, at least, share something with her, because with the information that she hears and gives you, it will greatly bless you.
Absolutely.
And Donna, I think I'm gonna let you kick it off there with a topic there. I'm going to take a look at some people here, but go right ahead.
Okay. Well, this is actually from when we were doing the research for this show.
Mm-hmm.
This is from the Cleveland Clinic. And of course, that's renowned for
Mm-hmm.
their everything that they do. But they talk about, healing, how you heal from emotional abuse.
Mm-hmm.
And emotional abuse doesn't leave physical bruises, right? But it does leave behind very deep, deep, lingering wounds. It wounds our heart. It wounds our head. It wounds how we see ourselves and how we present ourselves. So, it's psychological abuse. And of course, the first thing you need to do is get help. But things that this was just, and I know this, but sometimes how, Jim, when you read it and someone's written it out, it just, the light clicks on.
Yeah.
People, like you said, they don't always know what's being done. Mm-hmm. Some of the emotional abuse perpetrators will often do the following: attempt to control you.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dismiss your feelings or claim you're too sensitive.
Mm.
This is a huge red flag, this next one. Isolate you from your family and your friends.
That's a big one.
Yeah, it's a huge one. And that goes right back into the control. Make you doubt yourself or feel ashamed.
Oh, man, yeah.
Call you names. Withheld affection. Well, if, I've read lots of these where somebody's writing the story about what happened in their life, and the person who was abusing them was like, well, I would have hugged you and kissed you, but you weren't really being good
huggable
enough.
You weren't huggable.
You weren't hug enough. You weren't being good enough for it.
Yeah.
So that's bad, right?
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit more about that list, because as you're going over that thing, it's just ringing home. Attempt to control you. Emerson was talking about on Monday how he had done a study on rape cases when he was attending college in Tallahassee. And what was amazing was that he ran into resistance, but he actually interviewed a rapist in prison. I thought, wow, you were really getting after it. And what the rapist told him is this, and we covered this a little bit yesterday, but this is very important to hit on it again, I think, Donna. Whenever a person is raped, they're the victim of a violent crime.
Absolutely.
Remember that it had nothing to do with that individual. It had everything to do with the evil, warped, twisted mind. Because, like that rapist told him, it doesn't matter to me if it's a car or if I'm chopping a tree, or if it's a person. It's all about having dominion over them, control. Let me,
Complete
let me,
control.
yeah, let me feel good about my worthless self on the inside. And
Hmm.
when you fuel that with someone that really needs psychiatric help, that's a dangerous situation. So,
Ooh,
yesterday we touched on it, some about, if you know of anyone out there that has been a victim of rape, and that's the only time we use that word in that capacity, but they should be looked at with respect. They should be looked at as being at the wrong place at the wrong time. They're innocent of that violent act or that thing happening to them, just like someone driving down the street in their car. They're going through an intersection. They got the right of way, and somebody runs the red light at a high rate of speed and crashes into them.
right,
Now, you know good and well, no one would say, well, it's your fault. You shouldn't have been there in that intersection,
right.
you know? But, a lot of years ago, and I guess it's still around to some degree, there are some people that still think that if someone gets raped, they had it coming or they asked for it. And that is not true at all. That is not
Absolutely
true
not.
at all. And I
Absolutely not.
remember in the military years ago, as a young guy, we got talked to. I mean, we didn't get called in. We had not done anything bad, but we were in training and in counseling.
Right.
And they says, hey, if a
They took it
girl's,
serious.
yeah, they said, if a girl says no, that means no. So what part about no is it you dummies don't understand? You got that? Yeah, Sarge. Okay, we had this little talk. What's next on the agenda? But that's the way my world turned. But even way back in the 60s and early 70s,
Hmm.
they told us soldiers, hey, you know, if a girl says no, that means no.
Hmm.
And that's across the board. Doesn't matter who she is, where she's at, or whatever. No means no.
Right.
It really does. And so I just wanted to, for some reason, wanted to cover that a little more. And
Absolutely. I just want to say real quick, the
hmm,
last one on this list is an emotional abuser will
hmm,
yell, intimidate, or make threats.
yes, ma'am.
So that's these are some these are the red herrings, if you will. These are the
Yeah,
signs that
these are
need
the
to be
red
looked for.
flags.
Hmm. They certainly
Especially,
are.
especially if you know someone that's being isolated from family and friends. That's a huge red
Right.
flag. Huge red flag.
Well, also it goes on in this next part talks about gaslighting, Jim.
Okay.
Gaslighting 101.
Mm,
Gaslighting is a particularly sinister type of emotional abuse. The abuser might try to make you feel like you're losing your mind. They might
hmm,
claim, I never said that or I never did that. They might even hide objects so that their victims feel out of control.
mm,
The goal is to make you feel responsible for what's happening. You begin to question your reality, who you are as a person, and what you know to be true.
mm. I've
Yeah.
never heard of the gaslighting before. I really hadn't.
Mhm.
And yeah, because that's a head game there. It
Oh,
really
yeah.
is. Big time head game.
Bad, bad head
And
thing.
yeah, because you know, well, the one thing that I got out of a recent church service was that love covers a multitude of sins,
Mhm.
and we understand that. But it also means it covers a multitude of overlooking and forgiving someone of their faults, their shortcomings,
Mhm.
and excuse me if I may, your stupidity. Because you're going to do dumb things, guys and girls out there. But I mean, love, if you really love someone, you will forgive them and overlook that and remind yourself in the process, I'm not perfect either.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, Sorry, I have a cat moving on my.
That sounds like one of them personnel kind of problems,
It
right?
is. It's, you know,
Well, that's
good,
what you get.
good help.
That's what you get for living in a cat house, lady. Being the madam of a cat house. That's what you get.
Right? Oh my
But
goodness.
but there are places out there, and we want to mention our charity, the lady that
Oh,
works with us,
absolutely.
Charlene Fouts. She hopefully she'll be able to come back with us this week. She had a little procedure done, medical procedure, and she's not feeling too well. We understand that, but their website is Healing Acres Never Again. The website is down. They're redoing it right now, but you can catch them on Facebook. They have a chapter in Australia. They have a chapter or some chapters in Africa, across the United States, and they branched out to Europe. And
Right.
Healing Acres Never Again was created for a safe place for someone to go to. Now, you may not go there physically, but at least you can visit them virtually.
Right.
And you can have good counseling there because regardless of the situation that you're in, if you feel like you're isolated, if you feel like someone's telling you you're no good, whatever it is, if you just feel like you're carrying a load, call someone, get in touch with this charity, get in touch with Donna, let someone know. Because both of these organizations here with Donna and also with the Healing Acres Never Again, it won't cost you anything.
Right.
That's the beauty of it. And
Yeah.
therefore, you get some good advice. Healing Acres Never Again, and also Donna's email address, highenergyrightnow@gmail.com. And her website is Donna Guinoard. Did you see it spelled there? GUINOUARD.com. And we're just here to help,
Right.
whatever we can do. And we also ask for you, if you kindly would, be sure and share our show. We're on Facebook. And let's see, that's our YouTube channel, Messages of Inspirational Stories TV show. And we're also sponsored by the Hometown Good News magazine. We'll put that up in a few minutes. But the main thing about everything that we've done here in the TV show, it's about giving and sharing. And it's really taken us a long way, and it's starting to raise us up to the next level. And Donna, that's what we do in life, because if you're living in a difficult situation, if you're in an abusive type situation, you will survive. Just make up your mind you're going to survive, and you're going to love yourself, you're going to forgive yourself, and no matter what,
Right.
You are loved by the Creator. You are loved by family and friends. You are somebody, and give yourself grace, as Donna likes to say. Don't carry around baggage. Sure, you've made mistakes in your life. So what?
We all do.
Yeah. I mean,
But
I do. I make mistakes every day, accidentally on purpose.
But it's how we look at it and how
Mhm.
we let it define us.
Yes.
So I kind of look at it in the equation of, and it's a hard thing, I understand that, but when you finally are breaking free, you have to take the next steps, because otherwise, are you going to be the sheep and not do anything and just stay huddled in a corner? And by not taking your power back, Jim, you leave that open for that wolf to come back in
Mm-hmm. Yes.
and get
Yes.
in the sheep pen. And
Yes.
that's where you're at.
Mm-hmm. That's just like people that that's not in an abusive situation. Maybe they know these individuals, and they may say hurtful things to them, and they let that consume them all day long.
Right.
So all they do the same thing that the victim of an abuser does. They just let them live inside their head. Get rid of them. Evict them.
They
You are the landlord of your soul. Evict them.
right. They just when we let people do that,
Mhm.
We let them take that precious moment of time,
Yes.
that time that could be spent, loving on your kids,
Mm.
fixing, time with your family, whatever it is, fixing a meal, whatever it is, that we let them take that away from us. And your power is in recognizing it and
Mm.
getting it back.
Yeah. And you admire people who have overcome traumatic situations. Christine Aguilar, for example, a lot of people didn't know that she dealt with abuse from her father, who also abused not only her, but her mother. And her mother has actually spoken about the abuse, saying that there was an instance when she found Christina, who was just 4 years of age, with blood dripping from her face.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine? You're talking about a little 4-year-old girl. The only time that blood should be dripping from any 4-year-old kid is if they fell and had an accident. No,
Absolutely.
that's the only exception right there. And Christina spoke out about the abuse in the Glamour magazine back in 2007. She said that she worked very closely with a shelter near Pittsburgh. She says, one day I hope to open a shelter of my own. I think it's really important to share my own story with women who have been abused because growing through that experience has led me to where I am today. It's given me the strength and the motivation to be the best person she can be.
Right.
And Christina, kudos to you, young lady. Kudos to
Absolutely.
you. And that's a good example because, Donna, in your situation, you had health issues. You had to have 3 brain surgeries. You know what you went through there. You could not speak a complete sentence for 2 years. And overcoming your struggles, you said, okay, I'm going to create donnaguinwa.com. I'm going to help counsel people who are going through TBIs, who are coming back from all sorts of things, and
Well,
it kind of expanded from there, didn't it?
it did because here's the thing: when our energy is trapped, love and hate
Hmm.
cannot exist in the same space.
Hmm.
Absolutely, they can't live in the same space. And when we're trapped by something, and it doesn't
Hmm.
matter whether it's an abusive situation that you're going through,
Hmm.
or maybe you have somebody in your family who has a severe disease that
Hmm.
is constantly the forefront of everything that revolves around the
Oh,
house.
yeah.
Think about that. Think how much energy that takes because now there's that balance is out of sync, right? And we lose our power when we give so much of of ourselves to something that isn't giving us back reward, Jim.
Yeah, it's consuming.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Mm-hmm.
taking you. And so, just like Donna created her organization to help people, Christine Aguilar, she's going to be, I don't know if she has it yet or not, but she has a reason why she wants to help other people that's
Yep.
been go through abusive situations. You may be that next person. You may be that next Christina Aguilar who can actually go out and say, in my small community,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be a lantern for people who are living in the darkness. I'm going to be their candle of light. I'm going to be their candle of hope. And I'm going to help them because I'm going to let them know I survived and they too can survive. And that
Yep.
can only come from the heart of someone that's just like you. You've been
Right.
there, you've done it, you have earned those credentials.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Another person who we all know through television and movies is
Mhm.
Halle Berry.
Oh, yeah.
She is proof that domestic violence affects more than just the couple involved. In
Mm.
2010, the actress revealed the impact that her father's abuse toward her mother had on her growing up. This resulted in Hallie suffering from low self esteem and choosing some terrible boyfriends later in life. She even admitted that she once had a boyfriend who hit her so hard that he left her over 80% deaf in 1 year.
Wow.
She volunteers now at the Genesee Center. It's a domestic intervention program in Los Angeles. She spoke about the center, saying, "The reason I say this organization is in my heart and soul is because I understand the good that it does and the lives that it changes and the impact it has on women and children in our community."
Wow. Bless her heart. I just can't imagine any guy with half a brain. I mean, I was always brought up, that men don't hit women.
Right.
That's just the way it was brought up. And I remember one time, I didn't even, all I did was just make a smart aleck remark to my mother. It was not insulting, it was just an overly intelligent remark. And my dad just, without any warning, without saying a word, backhanded me. Then he said, "You want to try that again?" And I did, and it was a lot different the second time around. He says, "Now that's more like it, boy."
Right. Right.
And he just it that's something that should be instilled in every guy. I mean, I know I read a lot of stories and stuff. It really bothers me when I hear about a guy hitting a woman because men do not hit women.
Right.
Only little punks will hit a woman. A little candy butt punk. That's just the way I feel about them, Donna. I don't
I
have much
know.
respect for them.
No, it is hard to have respect for people who are abusive. You
No,
know,
forget it.
in reading about Halle Berry and
Hmm.
understanding that, you know, the abuse her mother had and went through
Mm.
with her father and how it
Yeah,
affected her,
yeah.
it does damage to our children. And
Mm.
you know, one of the things I talk about a lot is how you are treated is how you let people treat you,
Hmm. Amen.
right?
Say that again, Donna. That's a jewel.
How you are treated is how you let people treat you.
Hmm.
So if you
Amen.
let them walk all over you, it's
They will.
because if they do, it's because you have. You know,
Hmm.
boundaries are important. Think about this. When we're raising our children, right? And from infancy up, and they start exploring and they're growing, we don't let them touch the hot stove, right? Because we don't want to burn, we don't want their little handies burned. So we give them boundaries and we tell them why. Same with, you know, the back door is locked because you don't want your child to go outside and you're not there. And same with the front door. Those are boundaries. So
Mm.
when we break this down, what are the boundaries that that you're going to set for yourself? What boundary? Because it's okay to set boundaries. It's
Hmm.
okay to not have somebody in your life anymore.
That's
Whether
right.
you've been friends with them all your life and all of a sudden it's just gone, you know, really, really bad, or if it's family, or if it's business people, business associates, it's okay to not let
Mhm.
them in your life. It's
Oh
okay.
yeah. Oh yeah. That is correct because if they're not a blessing to you, I mean, I mean, because true friends, they're going to try to bless you and they're going to try to be there for you. I
Right.
don't know. I don't know if Donna's smiling or yawning or what there,
No, I
but
was smiling and thinking, I'm like,
oh, she thought I was going to go off on the deep end. That's what it was, and get her snorting a time or two. But really, I mean, the people in your life, uh, everybody brings value, joy, jubilee, and any friendship should be well grounded in love.
right.
And with guys, I mean, I have great male friends, and I love them. I mean, they're just like brothers to me. We're brothers from different mothers, and that's the type of love I'm talking about, the brotherly love from friends and all. And it's so important because Donna also there at Cleveland, they were talking about writing down a journal.
Yes.
I know that you're very big about writing down journals, and you encourage that a lot. Uh,
Well, it's important because when we're going through a traumatic part of our life,
mhm,
whatever kind of emotional abuse you're going through, um, I'll give you an example. So, say you've been married for, I don't know, 25, 30 years, and then all of a sudden the marriage just goes boom. That is an emotional abuse. You
mm,
don't know how to, there is emotional abuse in that. And we react in the same way to actual emotional abuse. But by writing things out and how we feel, it releases that tension from inside us,
mhm,
right? So then we can go back over maybe in a few days and reread it and say, wow, is that where I was at? Is that what I saw? Because it sometimes, Jim, it can be a guide to help us heal.
mhm,
And it's a guide to see, gosh, here's one. Is there a pattern?
mhm. Yeah,
Oftentimes we have patterns and we don't know about it.
yeah. Because writing down that journal, that just reinforces what you said earlier about gaslighting.
Mm-hmm.
When someone's trying to play a head game on you,
Right,
and I didn't say that, and if you write it down, you write it down honestly.
right,
You will know the truth, and the truth is only important to you. It's not
right.
important to the other person because they're not interested in the truth. And when it
That's
comes to, go
true.
ahead. Hmm.
Well, I was, after yesterday's show, Jim,
Hmm.
I got to thinking, and if you're out of the abusive relationship, it's important to understand, and I think it's important for each of us to write down when we're in that situation,
Hmm.
what does healing look like for you? What does healing look like for you?
Hmm.
Because we all are going to heal differently, right? So, what are the things that would help you heal? Obviously, counseling is absolutely imperative
Oh yeah, yeah.
because of the damage done by
Hmm.
the other person, right? But not everybody's going to heal the same way. And I think it's important to be receptive to how you are going to heal in your way, what that looks like for you.
And some people will heal faster than others.
Yes.
And so don't put a time limit, and like, 2 months from now, I'm going to be healed of this or anything like that. Because that's
Time
not,
limits are stupid.
I know it. I know it. That's why I get upset when it's, top of the hour and we're out of time. Well,
I know, I know. But seriously, there is no time limit on what you need. Your
mhm,
body, your soul
yeah,
needs the amount of time it needs, period.
mhm,
Just like,
that's right.
some people heal faster from an injury than other people. It is no
Sure.
different.
Mhm,
Okay. A physical injury is in healing is no different than an emotional healing.
mhm, yeah. And that's just like, right across the board on everything. I mean, if you lose weight, someone may lose weight a little quicker than you or a little slower than you. So
Right.
what? I mean, everybody's different. So don't put additional pressure on yourself by putting some physical limitation because
Right.
you're already got a full wagon. You don't need any more junk thrown on there. You're trying
Right.
to unload that junk. And I'm glad you mentioned that about journaling because it really does, help you keep the facts straight, especially when you're talking to a counselor. That will give the counselor invaluable information on where you're at,
Right.
what's going on and be able to help you. And this next one, Donna, is huge, isn't it?
It is.
3 simple words, and I'm going to let Donna take it away. Stop blaming yourself. Oh,
That it's very, very, very sad.
mhm.
And we do that. We blame ourselves
Yeah.
about what went wrong. What couldn't we what could we have done better? You know,
Mhm.
that old adage, coulda, woulda, shoulda,
Yeah.
right? So understanding that by nature we absorb crap that we shouldn't absorb. If
Mhm.
somebody is being emotionally abusive to you, that is not yours. You might be the end of it. You may
Mhm.
have endured it, but that is not yours to absorb in a
Mm.
cellular level and
Not at all.
live with that for the rest of your
Mhm.
life. So it's about the abuser's need to control you.
Mhm. That's right.
Abuse of any form is all
Yeah.
about control and anger and hate.
Oh, yeah. They really are. And like Solomon wrote in the book of Proverbs about that jealousy is a form of hatred. And when you stop and think about that, and I mentioned earlier on a on a previous show that when I was younger, I dealt with jealousy. But if someone would ask me if I hated my wife, I'd go, "Oh no."
Right.
But on the higher level, I was guilty of that. And I first read that back in the 70s. I go like, well, I don't
What?
like that. Yeah. So if I don't like that, guess what? I got to change myself because
Right.
you cannot change truth to fit you.
Right.
You must change yourself to fit truth because truth's the only thing that you can deal with. And it's imperative in life.
It is. And, being truthful with yourself,
Hmm.
that has to come first. Because
Hmm.
when you're truthful with yourself on every level, Jim, how much better do you sleep at night when you're
Oh,
truthful,
yeah. Oh,
right?
yeah.
And,
Absolutely.
and you wake up in what? A great mood
Oh, yeah. Hmm.
because you've gotten all the crap out of the way and you're not taking that emotional
Hmm.
lie of baggage with you
Hmm.
everywhere you go.
Yeah, because you can lie and you can fool a lot of people. Politicians have a long proven track record of that, but deep down inside, when they go to bed at night, they know good and well they lied. And I'm a firm believer that if you lie consistently for decades, sooner or later it's going to take the slack out of the chain between your ears, and your chain's just going to be flopping up there, and you can't remember anything. And
Right.
I think we've seen evidence of that. That's
Absolutely.
just my opinion because when you lie that much, you're poisoning your mind a
Well,
little
and
bit at a time. Mhm.
there's something to be said about this too. When an abuser starts to do an emotional abuser, their whole symphony, if you will, of
Mhm.
abusive things to you, they want you to believe that
Mhm.
so that you actually are feel as worthless as they do. They just don't
Mhm.
know it. There's the difference.
Mhm. Absolutely. Because
They don't know they're miserable.
that's exactly what it is. They have such a low self-esteem. They've got to stand on someone else's back to feel good about themselves.
Right.
And it talks here about don't engage. And what that means, if you're in a situation where you still need to interact with an emotional abuser, try to step back.
Right.
It's not always easy, but you must remember they're trying to get a reaction out of you. That's their mission. They want to uh, aggravate you, put you down, say hurtful things, but you don't have to give them that satisfaction.
Right.
And this guy says, see what happens if you don't respond. Don't argue. Don't apologize.
Right.
Choose, choose not to engage is one of the most powerful things you can do. And
That's also the
Donna,
beginning to taking your control back.
amen. Amen. And, I've been when I've been involved in a conversation I don't want to be involved with, I just simply stop looking at the person. And, and oddly enough, this person. I'm not going to mention their name. You know what happened out there in Phoenix. I mean, he must have he had some die-hard batteries in his body that night, I guess. But it was a regular chatty Cathy, and we were wanting to eat, and I gave him a plate, and I said, "Hey, let's get in line and get some food here. Let's eat." No, and he was just jabber, 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 jabber.
Right.
And Don's wife Sylvia, she's, what is that guy on? But
Oh my goodness.
I just quit looking at him. I didn't want to be, rude. And of course he was talking to Don and a little bit to Sylvia too. And I just quit looking at him. I'm looking around and I'm trying to there's people there and there's chairs in the way. And I didn't want to climb over something to get to the food, but we didn't get a chance to eat. But I mean, I did not give him the satisfaction of looking him in the eye. Hey, he's a
Right.
nice guy. He was just excited to see us.
Well, here's one that I like.
All right.
Question your normal.
Ooh.
So if you grew up in an emotionally volatile home,
Mm-hmm.
and you may think yelling, intimidating, shaming are normal, but what you're used to isn't necessarily what's healthy.
Amen.
So it can also be flipped to this. Even if that's the case, what is the normal, now your new normal standards you want?
Mm.
That's a big one.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
everybody has a tell. So even if you're out of that relationship and it's been a long time or whatever, and you go into a new relationship, if you're honest with yourself about what has bothered you and why you were in that state, what that person was doing, you will start to notice in other people if they are that same kind of person,
Mm.
if they have some of the same traits.
Mm-hmm. Back in the 80s, I didn't remember a lot about this. I remember hearing some about it, but I just, it just wasn't on my radar at that time, to be honest with you, as far as things of interest to me. But back in 1980s, Madonna was being overpowered by her then husband, Sean Penn. And in one incident that is widely known, that he allegedly beat her for 9 straight hours. I did
Ooh,
not know that. And this resulted in him being charged with domestic violence, and rumors and tabloid gossips quickly spun around the couple with more abuse allegations. Everything was just being brought to light. And to this
wow.
day, there is still talk about how much of the stories are true, what Madonna and Sean's relationship is now. And even court cases still revolving around the case. But in the end, Madonna was able to walk away from an unhealthy relationship without any further harm. And sometimes, there's just not a good chemistry there, a good match. And when that happens, the man should always just get up and walk away.
Right.
I mean, to, I don't know how much of that's true, how much is that, but to beat on her for 9 hours,
Right.
my goodness.
That is
It might
scary.
have been, yeah, that's there's something wrong with it. If that actually happened, there's something wrong with his head. I'm sorry, Sean Penn. I know you don't watch the show or anything like that, but son, you got a cassette missing in between your ears up there. A circuit
Uh,
panel's burned out or something. I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm not. When I
right.
say I'm sorry, I'm not apologizing. I'm just saying, I, I would be publicly embarrassed if my wife called the police on me for beating her.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I got
So,
it.
but that's a big one, is questioning what your normal is. And then
Hmm.
once you have gone through counseling and you're kind of back in the swing of things, it's really important to know, and that's where that beautiful counseling comes in, and
Mm,
Healing Acres has so many helpful
mm,
ways that they'll help guide you through this difficult times.
mhm.
But understanding that by knowing what you don't ever want to go through again, by
Amen.
identifying it, then you can see the potential headlights that are way too bright and going to hurt your eyes right in front of you.
Mhm. That's a good way of putting it. That's because you'll have clearer mind, clearer
Right,
focus. And that's one thing that's nice about life. When you decide in your mind, your subconscious mind, that you want a nice life, you don't want all this heartache and
right,
turmoil and all this nonsense going on. Your subconscious mind is like a GPS. It will keep you on your path, headed in the right direction
right.
to make sure you don't get derailed and go over into the deep again. Because you've been there, you've done that. I need that like a poor hound dog needs a case of the fleas.
Right,
And just be a one and done with that situation. And
right.
Donna, and there was I get a little story here about Myra Carey too. In 2009, she admitted on CNN, Larry King, that she had been emotionally abused by her ex-boyfriend. And Carrie stated, for me to really get out, it was difficult because there was a connection that was not only a marriage, but a business thing where the person was in control of my life.
Ooh,
She said it was scary to break out of the destructive relationship and that you just get into a situation and you feel locked in. Oh my
right.
goodness. She said she was inspired to reveal her story due to another Hollywood star, Rihanna, going through a domestic abuse problem. Luckily, Carrie was able to escape this very toxic relationship. And notice the words that Mariah Carey used there. She talked about how scary it was, how to break out of a destructive relationship because it was so scary to break out because you get into a situation, you just feel locked in.
Right.
Wow. And see,
But
someone
here's
like her sharing her story, she can connect with a lot of people.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
if you're out there and you break free and you get out of this locked in type situation, you too need to share your story with others because there's other people out there who are walking a mile in the same shoes you just threw out
Right.
the back door. Go
You
ahead.
know, when I was reading this part about Mariah Carey, when she
Hmm.
said it was scary to break out of the destructive
Ooh,
relationship,
yeah.
okay, even though it's scary to get out of that relationship, let's ponder on that one for a minute. What do you think she learned?
Mm,
How do you think she grew?
mm.
And now let's talk
Yeah.
about what her freedom felt like,
Mm. Think about that. Wow.
right?
To know that she had the courage to set herself free.
Absolutely.
I got to tip my hat to that young lady. I really do.
Yeah. Big
Mm.
stuff.
Oh
Big
yeah.
stuff. Okay. And
We got
then
to we got to go back. We got to come back tomorrow and finish some of this stuff. We
I
ain't got
know, I
we
know.
got too much stuff.
There's still more in here, and it's
And if I go over time, Donna will abuse me.
I will not,
She,
but we'll be
she
in
will give me
trouble.
some. She will give me some thumb therapy, whether I need it or not.
You know, and I guess the thing that I would like to say
Mhm.
that I know Jim feels and I feel is understand that you have hope.
Oh yes, yes,
Understand
yes.
that you have hope and that there are
Amen.
people who will help you and
People that will love you.
people who love you. You
Yeah.
are not
That's
alone.
huge.
Always know you have hope because
Oh yeah.
when we have hope, there's nothing that is insurmountable.
Oh yeah. Because hopes. That's what it's all
Hope's
about. And
eternal.
yeah, it really is. And it's the situation I went through with my surgery and all. I just knew the hope, the eternal hope that I had, and I'll tell you right now, and I'm not saying this lightly at all. If I'd had the choice to skip that open heart surgery and make the big escape and get out of here, based on what I felt, the love that was there, the
Right.
safety, that just a wonderful feeling of just completeness, and I knew that everything I'd done bad in my life had already been forgotten about, didn't matter
Right.
anymore.
Right.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a homecoming, folks. It's going to be a homecoming, and so that's all that wraps in with hope. Because if you have a hope, you owe yourself a personal homecoming. That's where I was going with that, Donna.
Hmm. Absolutely. But we will be back. Guys, we are out of time. So
Hmm.
we have to wrap up the show, but we will be back tomorrow.
We certainly will. And please share the show with others and subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Messages of Inspirational TV Stories on YouTube. And our website, and we shorten it. We just got a redirect there. It's called Our TV Show. You know, is that what it's called now, Donna? Put that link up there. I ain't
Well,
got
I'm
my
looking
glasses
for
on.
it.
Are you?
Here it is. Here it is. I found it.
Yeah. Our our TV show live, because we are
Right.
live.
We
And it
just made it
redirects.
super simple.
Yeah, we're in the process of overhauling our website there, but yeah, it's real simple, because we ask that you share the show, because not for our benefit, but for the benefit of someone that could really, listen and hear the great message that they need to hear.
Absolutely.
Well, folks, our time is gone. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Thank you so much, all the folks out there in TV land who watch us on Apple TV and Roku and wherever they might be. Whether you watch us on your cell phone or your big screen TV or anything in between, thank you so much.
Right.
And be sure and remember that you're worthy of being loved. Love yourself first, and then you can love others, and give yourself grace, as Donna likes to say. But most importantly, if you're in an abusive situation, find help.
Absolutely.
There's people out there who are eager to help you, even if you're like Mariah Carey in that situation where she felt trapped
Right.
and lost and scared and all that. Bless her heart. I'm glad she's out of that. Well, folks, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a